All right, welcome to Let It Rip. So can the government force you to get that COVID vaccine? And what if you don't? Could the government put you in jail? Well, joining me now, constitutional attorney Katherine Henry. She is not a fan of those vaccine mandates. Good to see you. Thank you for being back. And attorney David Fink, who says the vaccine mandate not only is legal, but is needed. And by the way, I should point out that we are waiting for the Supreme Court to rule, which could come, likely will come, today or very, very soon this week. David, let me start with you. Give me the best argument, a legal argument, not so legal, but the best argument that would allow the government to force people, as the Biden administration has done, to get a vaccine.
The best argument actually came from, of all people, Justice Scalia about a decade ago, when he said that the elimination of communicable diseases through vaccinations is the greatest public health achievement of the 20th century. We do not live in a nation of anarchy. The Constitution doesn't say you can do whatever you want. The Constitution is about ordered liberty, not anarchy. So when it's in the common good to do something, sometimes you have to do something you don't want to do. And frankly, the inconvenience for some people or their choice to not get a shot puts my children and my grandchildren at risk.
All right.
And that's not okay.
All right.
And the Constitution doesn't require it.
All right, I have a feeling there's an opposition point to that. Let me bring in Katherine Henry. Give me the best argument that you would make that would prevent the government from ordering a vaccine mandate.
Yes, excuse me, absolutely. This morning, I think one of the main things we need to remember is that we, the people, have all the political power. That language is expressly written into our Michigan State Constitution, but is obviously inherent in our U.S. Constitution. So the government has absolutely no right to do anything unless we have given them the express authority to do so. We don't look to the government, we don't look to the Constitution for the places where we have specific permission to do certain things. We have the freedom that's given to us by God, and the Constitution says that its sole purpose, or one of its main purposes for the U.S. Constitution and its sole purpose for the Michigan State Constitution, is to protect those liberties. Nowhere in the U.S. Constitution does the word health or the term public health even appear. So there's no constitutional basis for the authority to be exercised by the government. Public safety is only in there one time, and that's talking about suspending the writ of habeas corpus. General welfare is only in the U.S. Constitution twice, once in the preamble to remind us why we created the Constitution, and the second time talking about providing for the financial support
but Katherine,
of the general welfare and public defense.
But let me ask you this, though. If a rat goes through a restaurant, the government can come in and shut the restaurant down, can't they? Isn't this kind of the same thing, COVID being the rat in this hypothetical?
All I want to say to you, because we're starting to go down a rabbit trail there, all I want to say to you about that is that we've gotten used to government overreaching and the government doing more and more than what it's supposed to and what the Constitution specifically allows. So if you ask me about, 3,000 types of laws that are on the books right now, our country is full, and the state of Michigan is certainly full of laws that are totally unconstitutional. It's about time that people start educating themselves on the Constitution, certainly our legislators and attorneys everywhere. In law school, we're not even taught to read the Constitution directly. We're taught to read case law, but judges and justices get it wrong every single day.
Okay,
David,
I don't know what law school. She went to, but at my law school, I was told to read the Constitution, and everybody I know.
Then where does it say we have the public health? Then where in the Constitution does it say that the government has the right to inject you with something against your will? Where?
The Constitution is not a statute. It doesn't identify in detail every single requirement. The Constitution set a set of principles that we follow. And by the way,
absolutely not. Absolutely not. The Constitution is there to create the system of government that the government has to abide by, not the people. But the Constitution is not created to put restraints upon the freedom of the people. The Constitution is specifically created so that the government has a framework within which they must act. They cannot act. No government official.
No, there's a basic issue, but there's a basic issue here. You said it at the beginning, and you said it exactly correctly. The Constitution is about we, the people, not
Absolutely.
I, the person. It's about we, the people, not I, the person. The Constitution says that when it's in the best interest of all the people to do something, it can
Absolutely
be.
does not say that.
But
Where?
David,
in what part of the Constitution does it say that? It doesn't.
But let me just open this up just a little bit
You
more.
obviously
David,
just don't believe in government.
David. Some of the arguments that were made in the Supreme Court kind of talk about what Katherine's talking about, in that the Constitution is a framework. But I'm curious, though, in the Biden administration's mandate, it is the president, that's the executive branch. It's not Congress. And I'm just curious if you think, as was discussed in the Supreme Court, that if there would be a vaccine mandate, that it should come from Congress. Why? Because Congress is the people, where they could have debate. And the people, Congress, or a legislature perhaps, but in this case, Congress, would make a mandate as opposed to the president. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that raises a very interesting issue, unlike this general question of whether it's constitutional to order a vaccine mandate. But the president does have authority, and the president has the authority because OSHA was created by Congress, and OSHA is empowered to protect the health and safety of workers throughout the United States. And by the way, this is a vaccine or test mandate. Right. It isn't even saying you must be vaccinated. Right. It says if you choose to not be vaccinated, you can be tested every week.
Let me get Katherine's opinion on that. I'm just curious, Katherine, would you make the same argument if Congress said you have to have a mandate for 100 people if the company has 100 or more people, or a choice? Would that be different?
There's two aspects to that. Number one, I would agree with you. Yes, if there's any kind of laws being made anywhere in the United States, it cannot ever be made by the executive branch or the judicial branch. The only branch that can make laws would be the legislative branch, which, as you mentioned, would be Congress, as we're talking about the whole United States. But Congress cannot make a law that is unconstitutional. I mean, we have to pay attention to Article 6 of our U.S. Constitution, that says that we are bound by the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and every single government official is bound by oath to support that Constitution. So Congress, even if it was a vote of, a unanimous vote to make everybody inject these experimental vaccines, then you still can't do that.
Hold that thought. I've got to take a break. We're going to have both of you back, though, because I want to find out, what can Congress do if you don't get the vaccine? Can you go to jail? Would that be legit? We'll talk about that when Let It Rip continues. All right, welcome back to Let It Rip. Constitutional attorney Katherine Henry, civil law attorney David Fink, talking about the vaccine mandate. By the way, we are waiting for the Supreme Court to make a ruling on those mandates, and that ruling could very well come today. I should point out that both of these attorneys here have had a lot of success in arguing constitutional issues over their long and distinguished careers. I want to go back to David Fink. Let's assume that the Supreme Court well, let's just hold on to the Supreme Court for a moment. If at the laws as I understand it now, is I either get a vaccine or I have a choice. I can get I have to wear a mask and I have to test weekly. Now, if I don't do that, I'm assuming then, I think I read that OSHA, that would be enforcing this, would fine me. But if I don't pay the fine, I theoretically could be in contempt of court, which means I could go to jail. So do you think that the government has the right to not only force you to get a vaccine, but to throw you in jail if you refuse?
Not only do I think that the government has the right to do that, I think the government should do that. If you decide to expose your coworkers and your neighbors to a deadly virus, I don't see why you shouldn't go to jail.
Katherine,
I think it's the right answer.
Catherine, help me out over here. Weigh in.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you don't agree with
No.
Mr. Fink on this issue. Tell me why, though.
Well, first of all, that's starting with the assumption that every single person in the United States has coronavirus and COVID-19, and that they are in the period of time in which that they are, it's transmissible to other people. That's a huge assumption. And for that matter, you could assume that any human has any communicable disease at any point in time, and nobody should be able to do anything or have any human contact with any other human. It's ridiculous.
But Katherine, would you agree that COVID poses a grave danger to the public?
No, not any more than any of the other. Flu itself killed far more people than COVID-19. If you actually look at the numbers, it's just since COVID started, all of a sudden nobody gets the flu. Nobody dies from the flu.
Would you be okay with a mandatory flu shot then?
Absolutely not, because what it comes down to is the government has zero authority to act unless the Constitution provides that. And our Constitution does not even say the word health.
So
it does not provide an opportunity for them to provide.
Are you saying, just so I understand, Katherine, are you saying the government should just stay out of this whole COVID discussion? They have no business, nothing, zero.
Absolutely. The government has no place in the United States in a Republican form of government guaranteed to us by Article 4, Section 4 of our United States Constitution to mandate things upon us. If you look at the Ninth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, it reiterates that we have all these rights given to us by God, and those we delineate in the Constitution are not the only ones that we have the right to. In fact, the government has the obligation to uphold and support and defend all the other God-given liberties.
What's your proposal? Real quick, we're running out of time. But what's your proposal to get rid of COVID?
We have rights from God, first of all. And secondly,
David,
let's be clear about one thing. You want to know what the Constitution says? 9 people
I do know what the Constitution says. You don't.
9 people are responsible for telling us what it says. And the
No, we are all individual people capable of reading the Constitution. Every person.
The Supreme Court of the United States over a century ago in Jacobson versus the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Oh, I was waiting for that to come up.
Of course you're waiting for it, because that's the law. The law says...
Wait. So Marbury versus Madison that explained that the United States Constitution is the supreme law of the land. They got it wrong too? Are you saying the Supreme Court has never gotten it wrong? There's never been a decision overturned? Because I can tell you what, the Supreme Court has gotten it wrong many, many, many times. And the one thing they did not get wrong was Marbury versus Madison when they said the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. We each have an obligation to follow it. You took an oath as an attorney. You have to defend the Constitution, and the language of the Constitution does not provide a mandate to be made in this situation.
Don't talk to me about the oath of an attorney.
Where in the Constitution does it allow it?
Let me talk to you about the oath of an attorney.
Yes, please do.
While you believe, apparently, that the Constitution serves some purpose, the one purpose you don't accept is the common good. You.
No, the Constitution does not allow the common good to override our individual liberties. Nowhere in there does it say that. Point to where it says that in the Constitution. Please tell me where in the Constitution it says that.
Make up whatever you want the Constitution.
All right.
No, you're making it up.
All right, time out. Listen, we could go on here. We will have the both of you back at some point to continue on this discussion. Remember, we are waiting now any moment for the Supreme Court to settle this vaccine mandate, and we will certainly follow this. Thank you both. Spirited discussion. We'll do it again.